Hello, everyone, and welcome to this Real Women, Real Purpose talk show, live in the On Purpose Woman magazine and global community Facebook page. I'm Kathryn Yarborough. I am your show's host today. I'm one of the two hosts of the Real Women, Real Purpose talk show, the global facilitator of the On Purpose Woman global community, and the creator of the Manifesting Clients Academy. And as you can see, I am here today with Kristi Sullivan. Hello, Kristi.
Hi, Kathryn. So good to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, I am so delighted to share you with the world. I've gotten to know Kristi in the last, I don't know, 6 to 12 months. I don't remember exactly. And Kristi, you are just a delight to have in my world. I'm thrilled to get to know you even better during this interview and
Thank
share
you.
you.
Thank you so much. Same here. It's been a pleasure to get to know you, Kathryn, and to do some human design work with you as well, which we'll get into.
Yes, we will. So my friends, if you don't know, which you probably know by reading a little bit about this interview, Kristi is a human design and self-care expert. And we're here to talk about how you can stop overworking and start overflowing. Let me tell you a little bit more about Kristi before we jump into this, other than the fact that I think she's wonderful. She is on a mission to help busy women stop overworking and start overflowing. So here's what I want you to do, ladies. What those of you who are listening, don't just raise your hand like this and say, yes, I'm busy. Type in, yes, I want to stop overworking. Or if you want to go short, you can just go short and type in yes. I love it when people interact with us. And if we're not able to get back and see it while this interview is happening, we will both go over and see replies. So anyhow, she's on this mission. It's what I've been hearing her talk about. We're going to find out all about that. Now, Kristi has a virtual community for personal development junkies because she loves it. So do I. And she's a speaker, workshop teacher, retreat leader, and co-author of three best-selling books written and published on Amazon. And this has all been happening over 2020 during the pandemic. And she's working on her next collaborative book, launching a new digital course, and planning a global self-care excursion? We're going to find out about that in just a minute. So, oh my goodness. Kristi, based on everything that I just read, it sounds like you're doing so much. Is that overworking or overflowing?
What a good question. I am actually just following my human design and doing things that feel good, feel right, and being mindful of not overworking. But we all kind of get caught in that. We either all get busy, perhaps doing the things we don't want to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
We either are used to a 9-to-5 mentality that means you need to work 40 plus hours a week, or it may be just juggling too many things and having, I heard this phrase, too much on your platter, not just a plate, but your platter. So that's kind of, I have a big platter. Let's call it that.
Too much on your platter. So yes, okay. So it's possible to have a big platter, but not have too much on it. So be overworking would be having too much on your platter. Is that?
Well, the way I think of overworking is, do you ever have a time or period in your life or some activity that you put a lot of effort into and it just didn't pan out or be as successful, or perhaps even meet your own expectations? And you saw other people perhaps doing the same thing and it worked for them. Or perhaps like if you're a small business and you're trying to follow a marketing formula that everybody is doing. And again, it just doesn't light you up. It's not exciting. It's not fulfilling. Or it could be, again, this 9-to-5 job where you feel like you're burned out or frustrated. Or could even be a relationship where you feel like I'm just having more hiccups and challenges than I really want to. And why is that? What is that ingredient that's not working so well and creating that overwork that I call it.
Interesting. That's a very interesting distinction. I know I've heard you talk about this many times before, but I didn't hear this piece. So I'm going to say it back what I just got. Okay. Okay. So I was thinking when you meant overwork was having that to-do list that's forever long and too much to do and never enough time. That's what I was thinking. But what I'm getting that you mean is something a little different, which is working hard at something, whether it's promoting myself or working hard in a relationship or working hard at a job, that sense of working hard and not getting the results that I see other people possibly getting by doing the same kind of work, something like that. Am I
Yeah, or
getting it sort of?
not getting the results that really line up for you. Again, not to compare us to others. So what you're going to find in our conversation is that we're all uniquely designed. Think of it as a car that we're driving, and we're all operating a different model per se, or if you look under the hood, the engine's built differently, or the interior looks different. So we've got a lot of differences inside of ourselves from the other person. And when you're trying to be like somebody else, a different energy or a different formula, like I said, you have to work hard at it. And yes, you could have a lot on your plate and it'll burn you out and it'll feel frustrating. But if you line up according to the design you have and the formula that really works for you, things seem to flow. Even if you do have a big to-do list, things just seem a little more effortless and things seem to perhaps fall into place. And I know that sounds like law of attraction, but really what it is, it does come back to your energy. You're an energetic being. And this blueprint I'm talking about is actually based on your birth date.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it doesn't, it's maybe related. It might be a cousin of law of attraction in terms of that it's based in energy, but it's not, yeah, it's not, it's a way to understand ourselves even better. So we could use the law of attraction more effectively. I'm saying that from the perspective of being a manifestation coach, expert type person. But let's step back just a second. In case anybody who is listening to us has never heard of human design, and that's your expertise, human design. Now, before I met you, I had read the term human design. I knew that people were getting their human design readings done, and there was, gosh, probably for at least 5 years, maybe longer, people were talking about how important it was. Now, if someone hasn't heard about it at all, or if they're just like how I was before I met you, what do you want to tell them a human design is? Do you want to show them anything? What?
yeah, let me first explain that human design is like a tool. It's something that you can learn about and that can be useful in your personal development and how you want to grow and thrive in this world. So really, it's a tool. You learn the information and it informs you. It can be more helpful. It is based on your birth date. And it's literally a chart and it looks similar to this. I'm going to show you the one that I have. So you can see different shapes. These are called energy centers, and it's complex. It's not an easy chart you can just look at.
Yeah. Just to say, I know, as Kristi said earlier, she did my human design chart, and mine looks very different. The head has two things. Mine has two things in my head. Show your chart again, because you have nothing in your head. It's like you have an empty head, and I have a
That's
full
right.
head. I have a full head, so I like think a lot or something that you told. Anyway, I know a lot.
Right.
I know a lot. So does that mean you don't know anything?
It means we express it differently. So I will say again, human design is based on your birth date. So literally the time you were born as well as location is important because it shows the alignment of the planets based on not only time of day, but where you were born. And that alignment, let's say scientifically, mathematically, correlates to certain numbers Those numbers then give you a pattern of your energy that's different from me than it is for you. So when we look at those patterns, then we see things like some shapes might have color, some might be white. You might see some lines or partial lines or full lines. And we're not going to go down the rabbit hole and go over all of that today, but I will say it just shows that we're each uniquely programmed. There's many different combinations, and that makes us really unique to who we are, which means we can't all necessarily operate the same, and we can't all follow, again, that same formula. That formula, again, I said, might pertain to your business. It might pertain to how long you work, how much energy you have through the day, how your health and well-being can actually thrive if you know that human design. So what I do is I sit down, so I explain to you what that chart means. And you said something about 5 years ago. I learned about this about 5 years ago, and I just find such an interest in it. I want to share it with others.
So, okay. So again, to recap for people who this is new for, my understanding is that you get this chart, it's unique for your whatever, all the stuff you said, and it's basically explaining how our energy operates, so, or something like that.
Your energy blueprint, I call it. Again, it's like how your car is built, how you, your operating system, if you were a computer, so to speak.
Okay. So just as an example, I'll share something that I learned from myself in my, if I can do this. You go okay with this? Okay.
I'd love for you to share. It gives a
Okay.
great live example.
Okay. So Kristi told me several things, lots of things, because I did her full reading, and that was 2 appointments with her. She gave me my chart and she explained it all. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But anyhow, one thing I learned, and this sounds a little crazy to be happy about, but I'm super happy about learning this, is that my particular type, it's not good for me to sleep with other people.
And literally in the same bed or the same proximity.
Yeah, because their energy comes in or something or other, and it drains me, and I don't like sleeping with other people. So it was an enormous confirmation. I am so happy to sleep alone. And we don't have to talk about sex or anything like that, because that's a whole different conversation. But in terms of every night, so that I wake up refreshed, I am so happy to sleep alone. And I've been single for years, and happily single, and thought I should have somebody in my life, but not really wanting somebody. And one reason, I think, is I really don't want to have somebody's energy in my space all the time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. And often we're all picking up other people's energy in some way, shape, or form. It could be through the emotions. It could be just sort of this energizing energy that keeps us awake at night. And what you said is, although it's true, it doesn't mean you can't sleep in the same proximity as someone. It's just to be aware that you may need perhaps maybe some time. It could be an hour or two on your own, because sleep is a great example of that downtime when our energy resets. The other example I thought you were going to say is that the type that you are, Kathryn, and I'll go into types in a few minutes, but the type that you are in particular. So going back to that car analogy, you don't have a big car battery. You have a small or medium-sized car battery. And so you can't use that battery through the day and push through and burn out. That's what will happen. You need to make sure you have time through your day to recharge and reset, kind of like having a cell phone battery, right? When we start to see it wane, we plug it in. And there are other types, actually 70% of the population, that are called generators or manifesting generators, and they have a larger car battery, and they're the ones who can keep going, kind of like the Energizer Bunny. But not everybody's built that way. And once you understand that, that also helps you to realize perhaps working 9 to 5, 40 plus hours a week isn't what you need to be doing, and you need to be working differently. Not necessarily harder, but smarter, that phrase that we hear.
Yeah, I love that. That's the other thing that I really love learning is my small battery that it's really good that I pause. I mean, I've learned to listen to myself and follow what I need, because otherwise I get depressed
Yeah,
and
and it
miserable.
really can change your health, your well-being. It also can help things like improve your communication with your relationships.
Mm.
You start to recognize how you're built and how others are built. I've heard this human design can be a great tool in parenting. And I don't have kids, but I know parents who will use it knowing that their children have a certain energy type. And I'll explain again what that means. But it can improve relationships. It can help you thrive more in your business. It can help you in just living a more fruitful, abundant life, because you recognize what you need and how things can happen for you. So let me get into the types if we're ready to do that.
Yes, let's
Um,
do.
and again, you can find a lot of this information online, and it could be what I call a rabbit hole. And I also do have a digital course that gives this overview of the types. But there are 5 types, and this is just the outside of the onion once we start to peel it away and look at the chart. But the 5 types are kind of like your astrology sign. One is called the generator, which I mentioned, another manifesting generator. You're a projector, Kathryn. So that's 20% of the population. And then we have 9% that are manifestors. And then a 1% reflector type, which is very rare. I've only met 2 so far. It's very rare to find reflectors. So there's 5 types. The majority, I said, are the generator, manifesting generator type. They've got big car batteries. We're here to help make things happen, following the details, implementing, taking care of details. The manifestors, only 9%, are the ones who are able to create, birth ideas and initiate them. We're all taught to be manifestors. And
Yes,
what
we are.
happens is that's where the burnout and frustration lead to. I'll also mention the 20% projectors. They think of the big picture. So each person has a role, and we don't have the time to go through a lot of the information. It's really fascinating, and there's a lot of details to describe each type. But there's a system that we live in where each type is important in this society. So it's just great to understand when you know your design, so that you can, again, function efficiently and also understand what other people are like, and they're not the same unique blueprint that you are.
Well, so, okay, so I don't mean to make this all about me. So let me just say this to anybody who's listening. I like to make things all about me.
You're a great
And,
example, though. You're a
oh,
great
good,
example.
good. If you're watching, listening to us, please type your questions. If you're watching the live, definitely we'll get back over there as soon as possible. And if you're watching the replay, write, put your questions in here, write your comments. If you know what type you are, share that, what you've learned about it for yourself. We want to know. I want to know. And if you have a question in particular for Kristi, about her work, about her doing the human design reading with you, type that in there or reach out to her personally, and we'll definitely, well, why don't we just say briefly before I say what I was going to say, how can people reach out to you, Kristi, to get a reading if they were interested?
Well, if they're watching this on Facebook Live, certainly message me and reach out to me. I would love to connect. My website is KristiHSullivan.com. And that's where you can also find my digital course link, my newsletter link. And I am on Instagram also as Kristi H. Sullivan. But if you connect with me, we can talk about what you might need if you're looking for a full reading or such. And yeah, why don't you share with them, Kathryn, about how we connected about this, and a little bit more that you were just going to.
Well, okay, so I met Kristi through the On Purpose Woman Global Community, and she kept talking about human design, and I heard about it, and I thought, okay, well, maybe it would be useful for me to do it. So I signed up for her full reading, which is 2 sessions, 2-hour-long sessions, right? And so she sent me the picture, my blueprint, and then explained it all to me. And I am curious, about the difference between someone like that, the manifester, because I think of myself as someone who's a creative type. I am creating all kinds of over the years I've created all kinds of programs and different things, yet I'm this projector. And I'm wondering if you can, I don't know, respond to that. And then I'm also having the thought, if all of these parts are needed, what would a little society look like if, kind of like we understand ants or bees, there's the queen bee and they have a certain role, and then, what are our roles within society? What is, because obviously there's some
Yeah, I've
optimal thing.
I've got a great analogy for it, not necessarily about society, but I'll get back to that in a moment. The first question you had was in terms of creating. We all have the ability to create. That comes energetically from this sacral energy center. But some of us are more built to take an idea and really follow all the way through with it. And others are more meant to just create some initial initiation of that and then leave the details, let's say, to somebody else. We all in a way can manifest. And I know there's some people who use different language than manifestors and generators, but there's a small m manifesting that we can all do on some level. Like thoughts create things. We all have sometimes visions of things we want. We all have goals or plans of things that we want to achieve. We create, we manifest that. The manifestor has a particular type of energy, though, that when an idea comes to them, they will be able to just go out, make it happen. And if they're informing those around them, there's not much resistance that comes up. They can just initiate it.
Mhm.
You, for example, as the projector, if you were to initiate, you might feel that people weren't coming together for you. And
They don't
again,
want
this
me.
is
They don't
this
want
is
me. That's
this
my
is
old story. I mean, it totally fits. They don't want me. And that's what I've had to combat as an entrepreneur, is
yeah.
what I thought was an old belief, which in fact might be related to this energetic blueprint.
Well, for you as a projector, the thing that lights you up, that creates this makes you feel like you fit in, is when people invite you to share some wisdom and knowledge that you have. Again, we all have wisdom and knowledge, but a projector has a certain way of expressing that. I just don't think we have the time to be able to really go through all of this, but I love the level that you're trying to take this to, Kathryn, and some great examples. So let me say with this analogy, going back to the car.
Yeah.
We would have, for example, a manifestor would say, you know what? It's time to take a trip. Let's get in the car and start moving.
And
The
everybody would get in.
generator,
Everybody would get in.
everyone would get in if they say, let's go, and informs everybody, now's the time. We're going to leave at this certain time. Let's go. The generator is going to make sure, do we have a map? Does everyone have snacks? Do we have enough gas in the car? Let me make sure that the tires are inflated and, we're ready to take this road trip. The projector will say, well, where are we planning to go? And what's the best route to get there? So I could see that route, but is there going to be traffic? Should we maybe take a side route? And then you've got someone like the reflector, who typically goes along because they typically have a lot of, they're there to help support the others. They're there to say, okay, this is what you're saying. And yes, I can see what you're saying here. So everyone kind of has a role in that road trip. And that's the best way, I think, to describe it. Again, those 5 types are just the tip of the iceberg, because then we all have other different qualities of energy. When you do a reading, it's not like saying, oh, you're a Libra and these are your qualities. You're going into a more complex blueprint to say, here's your soul's purpose. Here's how you express yourself in this lifetime. So it's really can be very unique and not just around the 5 types.
Yes. So I want to say that I totally enjoyed my initial reading, the 2 appointments, and I feel like even with those 2 appointments that we weren't at the surface, but we were still at the top layer of understanding, and there could be a lot more understanding.
Yes. And I'll say, I mean, I've done in my past different personality assessments. I was trained in DISC communication. There's the Enneagram, Myers-Briggs, and such. And those are great tools. And those are based on personality. Those are based on probably the environment you were brought up in, your beliefs, self-limiting beliefs as well, and how you choose to do things. And the human design, what's different about this tool is it really is energy based. If you were brought up a certain way, you may not be following your design. That might lead to frustration and burnout. You might have conditioning and a lot of limiting beliefs that were imposed on you. So this helps you to recognize what those are and versus who you might truly be and meant to be. And this again is just another tool, but it also does take some time to really understand it. And that's why people who have readings with me, I also offer them support by continuing what we call the human design experiment. How do you live it out? How do you use this information? And, people have been studying this for years. It's not a quick study, we'll call it that.
That makes sense to me because I really feel like I've just got the tip of the iceberg of understanding me. Well, let me just say this. If you're watching this, if you didn't hear me before, type your questions in. I'm going to do a quick look and see if we've got any questions so far. Of course, I often have a hard time seeing this, and I am not sure why that is, seeing people's questions. Oh, we do have 4 comments. Yay. Okay. Dora's here. Hello. Enjoyed last night. Can't wait to see what today's talk is. Okay, fantastic. Well, you're here, Dora, and you know that we're talking about just how to stop overworking and start overflowing. And hi, Elizabeth. Her question, can you have qualities of several? This, this is hard to read. Can you have qualities of several? Very interesting. Can you say more about the reflectors and why they are rare?
Yes.
Okay.
So again, it's rare because probably the timing of the alignment of the planets and that quality of the energy. And I don't have more of the technical explanation for it, but reflectors have very open energy centers. So they're very much influenced by the people around them as well. And they're very much tied to the moon cycle. So I'll tell you that the connection to the moon planet in particular is very strong for them. But I think what she's asking is, what if you have certain qualities of a projector and a manifestor or a generator? I feel the same way. And again, those qualities are can be a little bit in all of us, but depending on what our chart shows, we have a certain strategy that we want to follow predominantly. So for example, with Kathryn, it's so important that she be recognized and invited. If she's not, she is going to feel, like you said, Kathryn, not to talk about you in third person, but you said that you didn't feel like you fit in or that people wanted to hear from you.
Yeah, and it's not that I don't fit in. I feel like I'm not wanted.
Yes.
That's the old feeling of
Yeah.
not being. I feel okay. So I don't fit in on this planet. Okay, we're not going into my therapy, but yeah.
But the point is that when you are recognized, when you're invited, when you've got an invitation coming in the email that says, hey, would you like to be a speaker? Would you like to attend? Your energy kind of lights up like, wow, I got an invitation that feels really good to me. And you decide which ones you want to accept. For a generator, the strategy, and again, so I may have some aspects of a projector in me because we all have different expressions, but as a generator, I follow the certain strategy of wait to respond. because waiting for the right opportunities, then I know those are really going to align with my energy and light me up. And for a generator, it's so important we're doing the right work at the right time. And the work that we're doing was so important, because we're worker bees. We have a lot of energy, and we want to be the energizer bunny with the right kind of work. So you follow a certain strategy when you are a predominant type. So that's a good question. And again, we may not have answered that in this few minutes, but I hope it shed some light.
That makes me think of people like you had a corporate job before you started doing this. And there's a lot of people I know who in their middle years, whenever that is, feel like the work they've been doing isn't the work that's right for them. And what you just described, that experience of doing the right work, is interesting because I could not tolerate corporate. Like my being, I couldn't make myself keep going to jobs that weren't right. I couldn't do it. I've had to become an entrepreneur in a sense to find my own path and be sane.
Yeah. Yeah. And to be able to probably have more freedom in your schedule, more
Mhm. Exactly.
flexibility, more ability to choose what you want to do as a projector. Generators are great with like, can you go do this for me? Sure, let me go do this for you and run with the ball, so to speak. A projector wants some more of the oversight, you know. So it doesn't mean you can't work in corporate, but you will recognize that when something doesn't line up for you, again, this is back to that overworking. You don't feel like you fit into the job, or you don't feel like the people around you that you're working with are not the right people, for example, or you're not really feeling the work is really valuing you for what you want to be doing. So having that knowledge and to say, okay, it's okay, let me go find something that's better for my energy. And then things seem to fall into place and there's more flow. There's a great what I call the red flag for everyone. If you're not feeling like you're in the right place with the right people doing the right work, for 70% of the population, that's a red flag that you should be looking at potentially doing something else.
Okay, say those things again. If you're feeling like you're in the not in the right place,
With the right people doing the right kind of work.
you should get something else because
Yeah.
there's other people, there's another place that's more right for you. So yeah, so anybody who's experiencing that sense of overwork, or if you have clients or who you work with people and they're experiencing that not right,
Yes.
whether you use the tool of human design and you make an appointment with Kristi, or you just go to a career counselor and find another job that
That's
you
right.
might enjoy. Do something different because we're here to feel joyful and love our lives. That's what I like.
And
That's
have
what I
fun.
want. Here we go. And overflow with good stuff, with the energy that with the good being in the right place at the right time with the right people.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yes. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say it's about time for us to begin to wrap
That's
up.
right.
What else
Yeah.
would you like to say, Kristi, and let people know about what they can do with you, how they can do it?
Yeah. And I'll repeat again how to reach out to me. I'm on Facebook and Instagram, Kristi H. Sullivan. I would say there's a couple different ways that people can learn about human design with me. One is I have a digital course that's self-guided. It's about an hour long. So it's not a long course. It's some short videos. It gives you an introduction to human design. And it also helps you understand your energy and how self-care is so important to aligning that energy. And another way to work with me is to book a reading. So I will look up your chart specifically and we'll schedule 2 sessions to go through that information. Again, that can be life-changing and really help give you a lot of specific guidance for your situation. And I also,
hold on,
yes,
Let me
yeah,
just say, I recommend that you do this. I found it to be very interesting. Of course, Kristi's wonderful, so you'll get to know Kristi, and that's great. But it was for me very interesting. It was right on the money. I really feel like It validated a lot of choices I've made to thrive, and also gave me some things to think about for making better choices moving forward. So I do recommend
Yes.
reaching out to Kristi, scheduling your, I would say get your full human design reading, but your course is a little more affordable, right?
If people want to start there, and that just gives them a little more understanding about human design, goes over some of the information we just went over, plus they get a self-guided or a guided meditation visualization for themselves, so that they get a personalized attention to that. But I also want to say that in October, so it's still a few months away, but I will be launching a new human design collaborative book with 24 other authors. And
Interesting.
you mentioned a couple books I did last year. They were all collaborations with other authors. This one is around human design to help people understand the story of how human design can shift your life. Some personal stories will be in there from the 24 authors, and some tips on for people to follow. And again, just a good kind of entry of what is human design and how can I use it. And there's a lot of resources online. I am not the only one doing this. I want to say that because if you like my energy, come to me. But there's a lot of great folks, and I can also recommend other folks if you're looking for example, parenting information or relationship information related to human design.
Okay.
So I hope we connect. And of course, find me through this wonderful page, the On Purpose Women.
We love the On Purpose Women. So thank you so much, Kristi, for being here with us today. And gosh, oh, I knew I had a thought. If you're listening to this, whether you're here with us live or watching the replay, type something in. What did you appreciate about learning from Kristi, finding out about the human design, or just tuning into this interview? I want to know, and I'm sure other people want to know what you experienced by tuning in. And I want to say thank you. Thank you for joining us for this Real Women, Real Purpose talk show live in the On Purpose Woman magazine and global community Facebook page. Tomorrow, which for those of you who are live, it's Friday, July 16th tomorrow, and Jenny Robertson, the other host of the Real Women, Real Purpose talk shows and the founder of this community, will be back at 2:00 Eastern. She's interviewing Tammy Workman Lopez about how to break the chains of thinking you're not good enough. Okay, I know lots of people are out there who feel like they're not good enough. Tune into that. Tammy's wonderful. And there is a list of all of our upcoming Real Women, Real Purpose talk show topics in the July-August issue of the On Purpose Woman magazine, which you can read if you go to onpurposewomanmagazine.com, onpurposewomanmagazine.com, and read the current issue, and you'll find all of the topics there. If you love this interview and want to share it with your friends, please just click share and share it. We want everybody to get to know Kristi, find out about their human design, stop overworking, and start overflowing. We also have replays of all of our past interviews on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel. Yay! So go to YouTube, type in On Purpose Woman Global Community, and subscribe so you get notified when our new interviews come up, and also watch some of the past ones. If you like to watch interviews, there's a lot of inspiring, educational, informative interviews. And I will be back Monday, this coming Monday, July 19th at 2 Eastern, to interview the wonderful and lovely Lilia Shoshana Ray. And we're going to talk about who said purpose work can't be fun. So thank you all once again. Thank you, Kristi, and I will see you all next time.